What's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going over 10 rumored and or possible launch window games for the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, I do think that the Nintendo Switch 2 will be backwards compatible, and I think that it's going to be very similar to how Sony and Microsoft has done it from the previous generation to the current generation, with patches and or games that dual launch on PS4 and PS5, and the next generation version, or current gen at this point, has the upgrades, while the previous gen is not quite running as good, or the performance isn't quite as good. I think Nintendo will follow in that with many of their games. Now, with that out of the way, let's go in and jump right into it here, and we're starting off with Metroid Prime 4. Now, since Metroid Prime 4 was scrapped and rebooted development, Retro Studios has been retooling and gearing up for this game specifically. Now, the scope and scale must have been dramatically increased. They have been hiring people left and right, and they have worked at some of the biggest franchises in the gaming industry. Now, this is from Uncharted to the Call of Duty franchise. Now, I suspect Nintendo's ramp up will happen soon with the marketing, because Metroid Prime 4, considering how incredible Dread and Metroid Prime Remastered are selling, but there's still a chance that Nintendo does go a dual launch with Metroid Prime 4 to show off the new Nintendo Switch 2 visuals, in addition to securing the sales with the regular massive Nintendo Switch's install base of 120 million units plus. It's pretty much a win-win in my book. People that want the high end will get that with the next Switch. People who still want to play on their current one will get that there. Now, next up is Monolith Soft's new IP, or a Xenoblade Chronicles X high-end remaster or remake. Now, Nintendo and Monolith Soft have already started teasing the next game. They started teasing that after they completed Xenoblade Chronicles 3. They put it in their launch addressing message saying, hey, you guys can already maybe suspect what we're working on next. So we know that title's probably going to be a Nintendo Switch 2 type of game. Now, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 was done for quite some time, so they've probably been working on this for a while. Remember, the story details and information leaked in 2021. Nintendo actually moved the release date up of Xenoblade Chronicles 3, so it seemed like it had been done, and on top of that, the game didn't need a bunch of patches and things to fix it up, so it doesn't seem like they were rushed or hurried to get the game out. Now, I think that Monolith Soft fully intends to have a major title out on the Nintendo Switch 2 at the launch or near the launch window, similar to what they did with Xenoblade Chronicles 2 on the Nintendo Switch. The Nintendo Switch launched in March of 2017. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was out December 1st, 2017. So I think that they feel that's a good way of getting things done and having those long-term sales throughout the life of the system before you get the next title out, or remake or remaster. Now, Xenoblade Chronicles X is an interesting situation because we've heard that the price would be a bit too high, but that was before Xenoblade Chronicles 3's launch and all the money that came flowing in from the expansion and that game. I do feel that a Xenoblade Chronicles X remake or high-end remaster like Metroid Prime is possible, just so you can play all of the Xenoblade games on modern Nintendo hardware. So I do think that that could happen. Next up is a big HD 2D game from Square Enix. Now, Nintendo and Square Enix worked together to get Octopath Traveler 1 shown off at the January 2017 Nintendo Switch presentation. Now, after Octopath Traveler 2's lukewarm sales debut, I think Nintendo and Square Enix will want to work together again on a big HD 2D game for the launch window of the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, it could be a completely new IP, or a remake of an older franchise like they've done with Live Alive, or maybe even a follow-up to Triangle Strategy. I think a lot of fans would really like that, but I just feel that when Nintendo works with Square Enix as the publisher, they can get more marketing and they can get more sales with that type of collaboration together than just Square Enix doing it by themselves. Now, next up is a brand new Donkey Kong game. Now, there's been widespread rumors for a number of years now about a new Donkey Kong game, but conflicting reports whether it's going to be 2D or 3D, which we did cover on the channel last year, and I think maybe even the year before, but last year for sure. Now, earlier rumors stated that the Mario Odyssey team would be developing the game, and some of the recent rumors say that the game could be open world. So we just don't exactly know what's going on, but it does seem like there is a bit of smoke for a new Donkey Kong game. Now, I'll be completely honest here, guys, we're long overdue for a new Donkey Kong game. I mean, the last one came out in 2014. This used to be one of Nintendo's staple franchises on the Super Nintendo. So to see Donkey Kong be away now for almost a decade at this point is definitely not a good thing, because Tropical Freeze was just a port of the Wii U game with some little bonuses here and there. So I do think that a new Donkey Kong game is being worked on and could be ready in that launch window, or even a launch title for the next Nintendo Switch. Next up is an open world Mario game. Surprise, Nintendo is working on a big 3D Mario game. I think that that's not really surprising, obviously, but the style that it could go, or what it could be, that's going to be very interesting, because Bowser's Fury with Super Mario 3D World, but that part with Bowser's Fury, that was the test, in my opinion, for open-ended, free-flowing, sandbox-style Mario. That is an evolution of what they've done, because since 1996, or since Mario 64, they've had it with 3D Mario games where you go into a level, it says, here's what you're going to get, and you have to go there, you get it, and then you go out of the level, and then you redo it all again in different areas. And that structure is completely fine. People like that. However, with Bowser's Fury in that small slice, it's about 4 hours or so, when they did that, that actually showed that you can get more of a free-flowing 3D Mario and still get all the big action, what you love about 3D Mario, but make it in a seamless world where it's even more fun to play, because I had a ton of fun with Bowser's Fury. So I think that that's what they could be doing, but as a big, huge Mario game, but we will see. Next up, Luigi's Mansion 4. Now, it's been 4+ years since Luigi's Mansion 3, and Next Level Games is now a fully owned first-party studio from Nintendo. So with that, definitely comes resources, more work could fall on their shoulders. There could also be more hirings. We saw what Nintendo did after they picked up Monolith Soft. Things expanded greatly. I think the same probably is happening for Next Level Games up in Canada. But Luigi's Mansion was a massive 10 million unit plus seller. It was one of the best looking games on the Nintendo Switch. Some say it is the best looking game on the platform, and Nintendo didn't want to pull the same mistake that they pulled with Rare and letting them go and not picking them up, because Next Level Games was ready to go on the market. So I do feel that they definitely want to get them going, and I feel that Luigi's Mansion 4 could possibly be one of those games, very similar to how with Luigi's Mansion on the GameCube could be a little bit earlier title than what we got with the Nintendo Switch and Luigi's Mansion 3. Now, next up is The Legend of Zelda Minish Cap Remake. Now, Grezzo's 2019 Link's Awakening sold incredibly well for that style of game. Now, Nintendo won't be able to turn out another major Zelda game for the Switch 2 launch or the launch window, just because The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is still going to be selling on the Nintendo Switch, and I'm guessing that Nintendo will do some type of performance update to where you can plop in your Nintendo Switch cartridge, or if you have your download of The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and you can get an upgrade for that, or it just might brute force it to run and look better. But people can still just pick up that, and I'm pretty sure Nintendo's going to rely, and people just will be buying Tears of the Kingdom on the next system as well, backwards compatible. So I feel that this game with the Minish Cap or Oracle games, this type of remake from Grezzo, could help fill the void while the next Zelda game comes out at some point. Now, it might be a tough task when it comes to coming out in that first 9 months launch window style, but I do think that it's possible considering Grezzo's really only done 2 things for Nintendo since 2019's Link's Awakening. They did that game, I'm counting that one, and then also if you have the Miitopia game. So there really hasn't been anything since then, so I do think that they are working on something with The Legend of Zelda, and it could be a Minish Cap remake or maybe a separate portable game remake on the next system. Now, next up is Fire Emblem Genealogy of the Holy War remake. Now, this game, for all intensive purposes, should be on the Nintendo Switch, but it seems like based off of how development is going here, they could opt to have a dual launch on the Nintendo Switch and the next system. Now, this game has been rumored for quite some time now, and it seems like it's done or very near done. And it's interesting because Fire Emblem Engage just came out this past January to very good reviews and sales, but after putting 100 plus hours into it, the title seemed more to be of a late anniversary game, which is still awesome, but not necessarily like that next thing that they're doing. I don't know how much staff in terms of all of Intelligent Systems worked on it compared to maybe who was working on some of the other games or what else they're doing. So I do feel that a big Fire Emblem 4 remake with Sigurd, that's his game, is absolutely coming. We just have to wait and see platforms and when. But don't be surprised if it's a dual launch on both platforms here. Next up, Golden Sun. Now, I've covered a multitude of Golden Sun related rumors on this channel, and nothing has really materialized outside of Golden Sun coming to Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack, but there has been some rumors with Camelot and maybe what they're going to be doing. So could we see this game on Switch and Switch 2? Could Golden Sun come back in some type of way? I'm guessing if it does, it's going to be a remake of one of the original, like the GBA original Golden Sun game, and it's not going to be something super high end, but it's just going to be a nice remake, maybe in the same type of vein with budget like Link's Awakening. So I think that is possible for Golden Sun, but something needs to be brewing here. There was some rumors, so I think it's very possible that we get some Golden Sun action at some point with the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, last but definitely not least, it's the biggest game, biggest franchise on the Nintendo Switch. Yes, Mario Kart, but this time Mario Kart 9. Now, some people feel that Nintendo will never make the next Mario Kart game. They think that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe sold so good that Nintendo is never going to make another game, and they haven't started working on the next game. Now, let me just tell you guys, that is wrong. The truth is that as soon as Nintendo finishes a Mario Kart game, they start working on the next game. A Mario Kart 9 is definitely in Nintendo's depths. It's in Nintendo's depths, and they've been working on it, but Mario Kart 8 just sold so well, they really just couldn't release it. But I do feel that they saw what they did with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and they saw what Mario Kart has transformed into. It is a system seller, it is a evergreen game, it is a holiday bundle that you can do, the Black Friday bundles, so you can do the same thing and propel the next Switch with the casual gamers and the core gamers if you have a Mario Kart 9 right there in the first launch title or launch window. I think they're absolutely getting that ready, because it's one thing to talk about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and the success that game has had, but in order to move the next system, you can't just say Mario Kart 8 Deluxe again. People that already have a Switch are just going to keep playing it on Switch. Not every single casual gamer cares about the highest graphics or the highest resolution or the highest frame rates and all that. They just want to play their games, which is why the Switch has been so successful with the casual core style of gamer. Pick up your game, play it, that's that. So I do feel that Mario Kart 9 is going to be that title that helps move the Switch to the masses, because when all those Mario Kart 8 Deluxe players see this next game, and if it's compelling enough, I think that will be a way for them to say, okay, it's time to move on. Now we have a brand new Mario Kart game that does X, Y, and Z, and I can play that game as well, enhanced features, whatever the case is. And this game must have been cooking for quite a number of times, so it's been cooking for the next one. But I guess you can also call it Mario Kart 10 if you count Tour as 9, which some people do, but hey, it is what it is there. But What do you guys think about this when it comes to the possible launch window, launch title, style of games for the next Switch? What I thought about the dual launching? What do you guys think is going to happen here? And what would be your dream Nintendo Switch launch title from any of their franchises? But make sure you guys check out some of my videos where I talk about some of the games that could be becoming rare with Nintendo moving on here to the next system at some point. Check that out. It'll be right here on the screen and much more. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you for the next video. Peace.